Welcome back to the Milk and Cookies podcast. This is the one and only podcast that has everything to do about football and has absolutely nothing to do with Milk and Cookies. My name is Alex. I'm joined by my friend always, Anthony. Leon is unfortunately away for today, but he will be back in future episodes. So right back into it. We are week 4 into our weekly podcast. We are fantastically excited to be here. Let's get right into the news. So first off, a little bit of speculation. Just something that's kind of been bouncing around the NFL, hasn't really been talked about, is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, amazing, borderline, if not elite quarterback already, is rumored to be traded, but we're not entirely sure. We do not know. Now, the one thing about Russell Wilson that I think is absolutely awful is since being drafted in 2012, he has been the most sacked quarterback with almost under about 600 times in the 8 years that he's been here. So we're going to go right into discussing whether we think Russell Wilson will get traded or not. This is my belief. I do not think he will be traded this year. I think he will be stuck on the Seahawks, but I think they're going to take a deep dive. What I mean by that is that they are going to go like 6-10, 7-9, 8-8. They're just not going to perform. So, Anthony, what do you think?
I think Russell Wilson ends up getting traded because the Seahawks general manager will listen to Russell Wilson and say he's going to grant him to be traded, and where he could possibly end up getting traded is the Bears, the Raiders, the Cowboys, or the Saints, all teams that could use a new quarterback because Saints, like you hear, retire. Drew Brees is going to retire. The Raiders, who knows what they're going to do? They surprise you every single day with what they do. The Bears, Trubisky's not the answer when they traded up one pick for him, and I think, and the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, he's not the answer. So any of those 4 teams are going to trade for him, and I think that me being me, I think Russell Wilson could end up in Las Vegas, and you could see that trade happening. But I don't know. All teams need quarterbacks, and I
I mean,
think
the one thing I can tell you is definitely not the Saints. Not with the amount
no.
of money that they are under right now. Still severely under in cap space. Even with Breeze retiring, they do not need a big, heavy $30 million contract just for a guy. But, the Bears is probably the most likely landing spot if he does get traded. I still don't believe he will get traded, but that's the one thing is you never know. So we'll just keep our ears on that and move on. Next topic of discussion, journeyman quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is now 38 years old, currently on the Miami Dolphins. God bless that man. Has played with 8 teams since being drafted back in who knows where from Harvard University. Uh, very, very old man. He is speculated to retire within this offseason. The biggest thing is that he may not retire and he will go on to play for another team. But my speculation is this is just a rumor. What I heard was that Denver has been in talks with Ryan Fitzpatrick's agent about a 1-year deal to go play in Denver. And Ryan has expressed his disliking, not that it's the fact that it's Denver, but more for the fact that he has to play another season. So is this the end for Ryan Fitzpatrick?
I mean, it could be the end because Ryan Fitzpatrick is 38 years old. So he's an older quarterback and he's been through so much. He's been through 8 teams in his who knows how long career. And I believe that this will be the end of Ryan Fitzpatrick. I do not see him in 2021 becoming a starter for another team. I believe this past year was his last year and he hangs up the cleats and he retires this year.
Yeah, he certainly had a heck of a career. He played for 3 out of the 4 of the AFC East teams, not including the Bucks, who had that one season right off of Jameis Winston getting suspended for those 4 games, back-to-back 400-yard season. So my thing is this: Ryan Fitzpatrick is just a player that you can't hate. I don't know anybody that genuinely dislikes Fitzpatrick. He's just one of those guys that you just love because he's just such a great guy,
He's an
and
amazing quarterback.
he really is. And he's proven that he can still play on a level like this at the age of 38. But I think it's time to hang up the jersey, hang up the cleats, and just kind of live at home and retire. I hate to say it, but I think this is
Hate
it.
to say it, but he could come back into the NFL world and be a broadcaster or work for any team, really.
Oh,
But
I thoroughly believe Fitzy will totally be a sports broadcaster. Excuse me, like
100%.
Romo was. But I think this is it. I think this is it
Mm.
for him. Now, another journeyman quarterback that has also kind of been rumored to move on, Alex Smith, who was just released by the Redskins a
Washington
couple days ago. Yeah, or Washington football team. Yeah, a couple days
quote
ago.
unquote.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, what's his future going to be like? I don't really see him going anywhere. I think he's done as well. I think it's time for him to hang up his cleats.
I see him playing another season. I see him playing another season, saying that he can prove it and go out there and win knock on hopefully win another championship. That's just like what I think. I believe he's got one or two more seasons with him. It's just who do you see him going to if he decides to play another year?
Yeah, that's the thing with journeyman quarterbacks like him. I mean, he came back from a nasty injury. He's proved that he can still play, but he's 34, 35. I don't think he's going to retire this season, but I just don't see him being re-signed. And if he is re-signed, he's definitely going to be the backup. Like the one thing that I heard is that he might be signed by the Dolphins for a 1 year deal just as a backup quarterback role. Honestly, I love Alex Smith. He was fantastic
Motivational.
before the injury, and he's still good now, but he's on his last year or two. I think he just needs to call it and get out, just like Fitzpatrick. I mean, these young guys are taking over. I hate to say it, but the old generation of football from the 2000s is slowly coming to an end now. It's time for the
Hmm.
late tens.
I
Uh,
mean, when you say this, the early 2000s, Brady's still one of those players that's going to play till be like the oldest quarterback that's going to play football.
I hope not.
I
I'm
hope
hoping so.
so.
The oldest quarterback was like 55, right?
Dear God, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think Brady's gonna get any more than like 2 years.
Brady's going to play to like 47, 48.
He's done after this year. But anyway, I mean, Big Ben is on his last legs. I know he just got the contract extension. Rodgers is sort of fizzling out. Not that he's bad or anything, but the Green Bay Packers and his relation is not doing well. So he'll probably
No.
pull a Brett Favre and go to the Vikings for a year or two, and then retire, and then play for the Jets, where his career will die.
Yeah.
Rivers is out. Breeze is out. I mean, everybody's kind of just
Yeah.
falling off. Oh, and the most important draft prospect of the early 2000s, Jamarcus Russell, is done as well. So it's a shame that that man has left the NFL. But
I had a Jamarcus Russell jersey.
I'm so sorry. It's such a
I
waste.
know.
Anyway, now let's get back right on the topic. Another one of these younger quarterbacks that has proven himself to be resilient. The one and only Sam Darnold, the Jets, drafted back in 2018 at number 3 overall. The second quarterback to go off the board was drafted before Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Is sort of in a very tough spot right now. The Jets are currently going into this year's draft number 2 overall with the number 2 pick. They could pick anywhere from wide receiver to a lineman to a quarterback. So,
Or safety.
or safety. I mean, they're going to need a little bit of everything this year. But
Mm.
what's the Jets looking like this year? I mean, where's Donald going to go? Is he going to get traded? Is he going to stay? And
Honestly, I don't know what his future is gonna hold. Because you hear all these rumors saying Darnold could end up going to the Texans. He could end up getting traded or staying. You got a new coach. You have Robert Saleh as your coach. So I don't know if Robert Saleh is gonna be the answer for Darnold or if Saleh is gonna say trade Darnold or draft a quarterback in the draft, but. I don't honestly, Sam Darnold, I believe he's going to be a better fit on someone else's team and a new scheme, and I think that's the best fit for him.
it's a shame. I really did like Darnold. I know as a Dolphins fan, I'm supposed to hate the Jets, but I really always had a
Mm.
soft spot for Sam Darnold. I always thought he was better than what everybody perceived him to be. He'll most likely be traded during the offseason, either before or after the draft, depending on what happens. But um, I'd prefer for him to stay. I still think that
Yeah,
he's good enough to play for the Jets to be their starter, and they don't need to draft another quarterback. I think he's proven himself. I'm a Darnold believer. But if he does get traded, I know that the most likely landing spot would be going to the Bears for a late second or third round pick, which is unfortunate. But I mean, I wish the best for
unfortunate for his
Darnold, and I know
career.
wherever he's going to go, he's obviously going to have a better team as long as it's not the Jaguars. So, or Houston. so,
Is
uh,
Houston the new Cleveland Browns?
oh, for sure, absolutely. Houston is tanked for the next couple of years minimum. Bill O'Brien has ruined that organization and
And
probably sent
100%,
everything to the
100%,
Dolphins. Hmm?
100%.
No, yeah, Houston's fine. Houston is going to be the Browns for the next couple of years as well. I don't think anybody's going to achieve that stature Cleveland Brownism, but Houston's going to get really close.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, final thing of the day, we are going to go into the other really young quarterback, also drafted in 2018, really flown underneath the radar. No, he was drafted in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2019. Gardner Minshew, sixth-round pick from Washington, all the way back in 2019, who has proven himself to be a reliable, pretty decent quarterback, but the Jets have really just kind of
Jaguars.
given him the knife.
The Jaguars
Obviously.
giving him the knife.
Oh, absolutely. Um,
Because he
it's
was
pretty obvious.
drafted.
We already know what the Jaguars are going to select first overall in the draft. Anybody but Trevor Lawrence would be a crime, honestly. I mean, excuse me. I mean, we've seen crazier things in the draft, but I don't see them not picking up Trevor Lawrence. So Minshew is obviously going to get traded, or he's going to ask to be traded. There's no way that he's just going to willingly sit behind Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. That man is better than some quarterbacks that are starting right now. My opinion, I think Gardner Minshew is better than the entire Washington football team quarterback room.
What about Taylor Heineke?
He's played one game. I mean, I think he's good, but he's played one game, so we don't know. Who else do I think he's better than?
Jared Goff?
No, I think Goff is a little bit better, but then again, that's just because of the weapons that he had around him. I
Kirk
think
Cousins?
Minshew is better than Garoppolo. There, that's my
Garoppolo's been
criticism.
hurt a lot.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think that he's the answer for San Francisco. That's who I think Minshew's going to get traded to. I think Minshew goes to San Francisco before this offseason, and he's going to be the starter instead of Garoppolo. Garoppolo, I guarantee, is going to be cut or traded during this offseason as well. Most likely, I hate to say it, back to the Patriots.
Hate to say it.
But I think Minshew deserves a fresh start somewhere.
Mhm.
He deserves the world, in my opinion. You can't hate that guy. He started from a Tom Brady type system, sixth-round pick, proved himself within the first couple weeks of his rookie year, and then that's it. Like that was it. That was his entire career. Was just that alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's gonna get traded. What about you?
I think Gardner Minshew does go to another team, gets a fresh start this year, and maybe you can see him say takes the lead of the team and make the playoffs. It just depends the team if he stays healthy and if he has good weapons and some good protection around him. Because it's clear as day the Jaguars are going to be taking Trevor Lawrence with the first round pick.
Of course.
Of course, that's where the draft starts basically at 2 with the Jets because it's clear as day the Jaguars are getting Trevor Lawrence. But I believe Gardner Minshew will be on another team after this crazy season that the Jaguars
Absolutely.
just had, a 1-15.
Yeah, we will definitely see.
It's
People
gonna be
always
an
say that the draft
amazing
starts.
offseason.
Oh, this offseason will be spectacular. It'll be even better than last season's, in my opinion. I think there'll be a lot of crazy trades and crazy signings. But I mean, the draft as for the draft. Everybody says that the draft starts at number one. In my opinion, the draft starts at number two. Number one is always cemented as the top guy or quarterback. It's never strayed away from, oh yeah, it's gonna be this quarterback. You know what? No, we're gonna pick up this wide receiver. It always starts at number two.
Well,
So
remember when the Browns had the first pick and they chose Myles Garrett?
yeah, and then the next year when they picked Baker Mayfield, when everybody thought they were going to pick Sam Darnold or someone else, yeah, that was another
I
big
thought they were
one.
taking Barkley.
Oh yeah, Saquon.
Saquon.
Yeah, but they got Nick Chubb like a couple picks later.
Yeah, that was a
Um,
good turnout.
that was a good turnout. But yeah, we will get that draft series started very, very soon. Maybe next week is when we'll start getting things locked down. But yeah, I think that's it for this episode. Thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, God bless your heart. God bless your soul. We will
Thank
totally
you.
be, yeah, I know, right? Thank you. We will totally be keeping our work and our ears to the ground. Leave a like, leave a comment. Tell us what we need to do. Tell us what we need to improve on. Tell us what we're right. Tell us what we're wrong about. If you want to bash one of us in the comments, be my guest. I'm used to that. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will definitely see you soon. All right, bye.